I was raised in the soot-stained village of Embervale, where smoke from the black pines never cleared, and silence was never truly silent. My name is Elias Crow. For 25 years, I have lived with the murmur of things not born of God. Last moon, we buried 4 villagers in one day. Their bodies were twisted, ribs cracked outward as if something had bloomed inside them. All bore the same symbol on their chest, a seared circle of thorns encasing a downward-pointing eye. Old Mirren, the herbalist, claimed it was the sign of the Ember Eye, a demon worshipped by the witches who once ruled these woods. She begged the parish to bless the fields. The priest said no rite could cleanse what lay beneath this valley. That night, I saw light flicker in the distant woods, orange and low, like a lantern swaying in ritual rhythm. My blood chilled. The next morning, a child was missing. Cora Dale, age 6. Her doll was found by the boundary stone, its hair braided with ash and twine. I could no longer abide in fear. I took a lantern, the priest's rusted dagger, and a satchel of salt. I followed the trail Cora may have walked into the black pines. The deeper I went, the more the trees pressed inward. Carvings marred their trunks, spirals, bleeding eyes, human mouths stretched in silent screams. Bones dangled from branches in rope-like hair. I came upon a stone slab, wide and wet with fresh blood. A black feather crown lay on its center. Cora's ribbon was tied to one jagged corner. I knelt beside it. There were hoofprints, not of any stag or ox, but split and long, sunk too deep. The air stank of sulfur. From the shadows, I heard the scraping, bare feet dragging. I hid behind the roots. What emerged was neither man nor beast. Its face was masked by stretched skins stitched with thorn wire. It carried a staff of bone, its fingers ending in roots. The creature looked to the sky and hissed a name, Arendelle. 3 hooded figures entered behind it. They were villagers. I recognized the baker's walk, the lamplighter's limp. Possessed? Charmed? Willing? I don't know. They began to chant in a tongue that burned my ears. I reached for my salt and scattered it. The ground hissed. One hooded figure fell screaming, skin peeling like bark. The demon turned to me. It did not walk, it glided. Its presence sucked the warmth from the air. "You offer yourself?" it asked. Its voice was not a sound, it was a pressure. "I offer nothing," I whispered. "I defy you." I plunged the priest's dagger into the slab. Light burst from the stone. I awoke at the tree line, my chest bare. The eye of thorns was burned into my flesh. My blood had sealed something ancient. The altar was cracked, the demon gone. But the villagers returned, silent and glass-eyed. They remember nothing, or pretend to forget. The forest grows darker with each passing night. Cora is still gone. Her ribbon returned to her mother's doorstep, tied in a perfect knot. It was dry, no blood, just scent of smoke and ash. I keep the dagger now. My sleep is thin. I dream of roots pulling me downward, of Arendelle's mask and the eye that never blinks. There will be another offering, and next time, it may not ask permission. I was born in a village so remote it was carved from fog and silence. We called it Cragfen, though no maps dared name it. My name is Bartholomew Gray. I was once a church scribe, now I am its only surviving witness. A fortnight ago, our blacksmith's daughter, Clara, vanished. No tracks, no sounds, only her shawl fluttered in the tree limbs above the well, too high for her to have placed it. The villagers whispered it was the reaping week. A superstition they claimed from when my grandfather was a boy, a time when something from beneath the soil demanded blood to remain buried. Then, one by one, the livestock stopped eating. The dogs refused to bark. The ground beneath the old chapel warped and cracked as if the very earth had grown hollow. I prayed, I begged, but I could feel it beneath my bed at night. A hum, like something chanting through the dirt. 3 days later, Clara returned. She was naked, barefoot, her eyes white as milk. Her fingernails were blackened and she smelled of smoke and iron. When we clothed her, she whispered the word, Marwyn. A name no one had uttered in generations. A demon bound in pact, the legend said. Buried beneath the roots of the old red spire tree. The elders panicked. They burned the ancient records. They barred the chapel doors. Father Enoch, our priest, wept openly and confessed he was born of the bloodline that once made the pact. He claimed we were all descendants of sin. Then Clara died, her body writhing and snapping. From her chest, thorny roots burst outward, pulsing like veins. The tree had come for her. Father Enoch confessed that the founders of Cragfin had once traded 5 daughters to the forest demon Marwyn in exchange for protection during the Black Famine. They buried the truth under a false altar and salted the ground, but salt loses its power when the bloodline forgets. We found the old crypt beneath the chapel. Symbols I had only seen in forbidden grimoires lined the walls. The pact was carved into a stone altar, written in blood, sealed in bone. One of the names listed was my ancestor, Hallward Gray. The shame boiled in my blood. My family had fed this place. The villagers held council and decided someone must be given to Marwyn before the reaping week ended. They drew lots, but the urn was rigged. My name was drawn. I pleaded, I begged, but they tied me in crimson cloth, painted my face in ash, and led me toward the red spire. Children cried. Old women looked away. The trees began to sing low, melodic, unnatural. They buried me alive beneath the red spire, but instead of death, I descended into a chamber of bone and soot. At its center, a throne grown from human spines, and on it sat Marwyn. She was neither woman nor beast. Her face was split by a vertical eye, her body clothed in withered skin and roots. Her voice echoed from the marrow in my bones. She spoke not in words, but in memories, showing me every sacrifice, every pact, every child swallowed into the dirt. Then she offered me freedom. If I became her voice, her prophet. I walk among you now, a man who has spoken to the dark. If you hear a voice in the soil, do not answer, for Marwyn is listening. I was born beneath the shadow of black branches, twisting arms of the hollow wood forest, older than any name given to them. My name is Elias Crow. I have heard prayers my whole life, and none were ever loud enough to silence what stirs beyond the trees. 3 days passed, little Thomas Winthrop was found just outside the tree line, barefoot and shivering, whispering nonsense. When his shirt was lifted, we saw it, sprawled across his chest, a scar shaped like a tangle of roots. No blade made it. It looked grown. The village priest, Father Osric, said it was witchcraft. He looked too long at the woods, and his hand never left his crucifix. That night, the fire in the chapel would not light, and the livestock would not feed. We knew the hollow was waking. I awoke in the dark to soft footsteps in the frost outside. I rose and peered through the cracked shutter. Just past the fieldstone fence, Thomas stood facing the forest, still, then walked in, alone, smiling. We searched at first light. We found no prints, just a length of Thomas's shirt caught on a bramble, soaked in something darker than blood. The village held its breath. I couldn't. I packed salt, oil, and Osric's borrowed crucifix. If Thomas was in the woods, something had brought him back, or something had worn his skin like a cloak. The hollow wood was colder than the air around it. A sickly rot clung to the ground. The trees were wrong, their barks swollen, faces suggested in their knots. I saw trinkets hanging, dolls made of bone, twine, and teeth. I passed an altar of mud and fur, a goat skull impaled on a branch, its eye sockets filled with dried herbs. Witches. Old ones. Not women of broom and spell, but of pact and blood. By dusk I found a clearing. There, etched into the soil, was the same root-shaped scar Thomas bore, but massive, spanning 12 feet. Fresh blood traced its grooves. The trees whispered. Then I saw her. Cloaked in rotted feathers, lips stitched, skin black with sap, she stood behind the tree, watching, breathing. I ran. My legs sank in wet soil that grasped like hands. The woods were shifting. Roots tore from the ground and slithered like serpents. The whispers became voices.
"We are the mouth of Vayrith,"
they hissed.
"You walk on her tongue."
Thomas appeared again. His eyes were black. He floated inches above the ground. His mouth moved, but the voice was not his. "The root-taken sleeps below. We fed her bones. Feed her yours." I threw the crucifix at him. He screamed, and the forest itself recoiled. Bark split, revealing pulsing red beneath. The demon rose then, Vayrith, her form woven from roots, horns twisting like antlers, eyes like burning sap. Her limbs dragged the ground. She wore a crown of human teeth. I reached a grove where no trees grew. The earth was black, salted once, long ago. A witch-burning ground. I lit my oil. The flames sputtered. Rain fell, though the sky was clear. Vayrith laughed from the dark. Her voice shook the marrow. I sliced my palm, let my blood fall upon the altar stone. "Take me, not the boy," I said. "Old pacts may yet bind." Then, from the dark, a hiss. "Accepted." The roots burst from the soil and wrapped around my limbs, pulled me down into the muck. I sank screaming, salt in my throat, the trees laughing. I awoke on the edge of the village, my body untouched, my mind fractured. Thomas lay beside me, eyes open, breathing. No one believed me. The forest was calm. But when I sleep, I feel the dirt shift beneath my bed. I feel her. Varith does not die. She waits. The hollow remembers, and I am her mouth now. I warn you, if the trees whisper your name, do not listen. They only speak to those she's marked for feeding.